Welcome back to Real Cast Fishing Podcast. Your host, Glenn, with the City Valley Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team from YouTube. In this round, what do we got for you? We're talking about the Little Red Book of Fly Fishing. This time's tips 61 through 61, 62, 63, 4, 5, 65. So 61 through 65. And then we'll just do a little quick little fish happenings things for some things that are happening in our area, specifically the Dallas-Fort Worth area here in the great state of Texas. But that said, let's go right into the first tip, tip 61. Feeling skitterish. The lesson was delivered by an old game warden on his home water, the Frying Pan River in western Colorado. Not one for frills, he never varied from his standard rig of 2 wet flies to tempt trout from the pocket water along the lower river. The strategy seldom failed and in any case worked more often than what might be considered a more sophisticated approach, often overlooked in the modern obsession with precise etymology. The ancient art of skittering wet flies across the surface remains as effective as during the days of Walton and Cotton. Hungry trout seldom refuse a fly sliding along the surface, and this replication of something so patiently alive also serves as a wake-up for fish that might be off their feed. 1 fly works well, 2 are better, and 3, if you can keep them from tangling, are best of all for covering the most water. Happily, this tactic requires only short casts and can be used effectively in close quarters and on small streams where others presentations are difficult. Signed, CM. All right, cool one. Let's go back to the title. It's called Feeling Skitterish, and they're talking about some lessons learned from an old game warden and about how to skitter a particular, a fly across the surface using 2, possibly 3 flies. I've done some skittering in my, forays out in the field. And it's worked, so I'll just give this one a thumbs up, and let's just keep going because bottom line, when the opportunity's there to skitter a fly, I'll definitely use it. And you just got to keep your eyes open and just observe the situation to see when and why you should probably try attempting this, especially if you, what is it when you see a lot of trout just kind of lurking in a particular area and they're just feeding and you've just thrown everything at them. Well, hey, here's another technique to put in your back pocket to see if you can try getting the strike. Skittering. All right, number 62. Negatives into positives. Faced with conflicting currents that make standard dead drift nymph presentations problematical, consider making that contrary flow your friend. Simply turn around and quarter your cast downstream, allowing the tricky currents to help manipulate your fly in an enticing manner rather than struggling to achieve an effective drift in the other direction. The notion is to make your fly imitate a struggling organism or an insect emerging to the surface. Here's the drill. Use a split shot or comparable weight to sink the fly, then bring it to the surface by raising the rod tip. You'll both feel and sense the strike, which may also come at the end of the drift when the fly is hanging near the surface. Western Coachman is a favorite fly for this technique, are the Prince Nymph and various caddis emerger patterns. This also is an effective method for traditional wet fly patterns, signed CM. All right, let's go back to the title again. Negatives into positives, talking about when you're faced with conflicting currents and you're going to dead drift and the presentation is problematic, turn around and quarter to cast downstream. Yeah, I've done that. All right. Yeah, this is another one to keep it on. I have to use the Prince Nymph. I haven't used the Western Coachman. May have to try that next time. Anyways, keep that in your back pocket. The negatives into positives. Let's shift on to the next one. Tip 63. When in doubt, set the hook. Ooh. This one just screams at you. Just when in doubt, set the hook. You'll be surprised what could be on the other end. All right, let's go for it. Always curious about the mysteries of trout fly fishing, Jack Dennis took an underwater camera into a local stream to discover what really happens when an angler's made presentations to fish beneath the surface. Among his more revealing discoveries, anglers failed to detect 40% of the strikes they received using conventional nymphing techniques, particularly with indicators. The reason? Invariably, the problem was too much slack in the line. Dennis found that the fish feeding actively on a plenitude of insects floating past their noses seldom moved much. Rather, they simply held their position and opened and closed their mouths. In such situations, anglers failed to realize when a trout had taken the artificial fly. In feeding situations with fewer insects, when trout drifted up or darted sideways to take the artificial fly, the line often moved sufficiently for the angler to detect the strike. One solution to light a bite is to get as close as possible to the fish, eliminating as much loose lines as possible. Excuse me. But the ultimate cure for missed strikes is keen concentration, setting the hook at the slightest pause in the drift, make the hook set quick and short, and keeping the fly down in the target area if you don't connect. Signed, CM. All right, let's go back to the title on this one, and it's called Wind Out, Set the Hook, and it talks about, they did some underwater views of trout taking flies, or at least nipping at flies, and it looks like a lot of times the angler didn't even know that was happening to them. So in that situation, it's probably a good indication that... Oh, sorry. I had to sneeze on that one. It's a good... sorry. Wow, allergy season here. I sneezed again. It's probably a good indication that, maybe you need to set the hook when in doubt. And, I go back to the Hank Patterson fly fishing videos that he was posting, and one of his things is when in doubt, just set the hook, and he gives a really good example in a comedy skit that just, it makes the point that when in doubt, set the hook, because you'll be surprised. Sometimes there is something there really, picking away at your fly, and that indication, however slight, setting that hook will make a difference. Okay, number 64, no clear indication. Decision to use a strike indicator for nymphing is usually a matter of preference rather than necessity. You can catch fish either with or without an indicator, without its balsa bobber, piece of yarn, or a large buoyant fly. Success generally depends upon conditions. Short line nymphing without an indicator often works best in a swift, deep run where you can get close to the trout. Often you'll feel the strike directly and quickly, and an advantage over the delay caused by the slack line common with indicators. On the other hand, an indicator helps deliver a good presentation at a greater distance and offers a good visual for those who need to or desire it. Should you choose an indicator? Select a system that allows for quick depth adjustment. A critical element in presentation or in presenting the fly in different locations as you move along the stream, reluctance to change depths may be the most important reason for nymphing failure. One variable is beyond dispute. In a strong wind, get rid of the indicator. It's like casting a kite. Plus, it catches the wind when on the water, accelerating the speed of the drift. Signed, CM. Okay, I've been guilty of this, where I've used a indicator system that really just locks me in, and I'm hesitant to make any changes because, it's just a pain to go and reset everything. The other thing is when it's been really windy, I've been guilty there, where I am casting that kite and that indicator is just skittering or just shooting across the surface. Definitely not a dead drift. Probably a good one to keep in your back pocket, that when you don't, or when there's a lot of wind, maybe stray away from the indicator. All right, last one this round, number 65, first impressions. In a similar vein, the first cast to a feeding trout, either at or beneath the surface, is by far the most important. Make the proper presentation right off the bat, and your chances for a hookup skyrocket. show the wrong fly or miss the mark with the cast or drift, and you'll likely put the fish on alert that something is amiss. You have only one chance to make a good first impression. Take pains to make that shot count. Signed, CM. All right, so that was tips 61 through 65. And in this case, that first cast count, well, that is true. I've blown many chances because I spooked everything because I really didn't do well on that first cast. Anyhow, well, next round we'll go on through 66 and on, and we're doing them in 5-tip increments, and hopefully you'll come back and take a look at, or at least listen in on some of the stuff we have. But for this round, a little plus for this episode is some recent, well, I went fishing today. They stocked the local pond over here at Town Lake in McKinney. They held the derby yesterday. It's a fun event. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it there, and the temps were really chilly. But luckily, temps climbed up today to about the 40s and 50s, and I made it out there and took out the Bait Finesse, aka ultralight bait casting gear. And well, here's a short video give you an idea of how I was doing. I was pretty much using some lightweight and a power worm and getting them to strike here. I did see a couple of folks fly fishing, and I did not see much action there. And then I did see some other folks doing well on power bait and bait in general, but it seemed like those folks that were using I guess power bait or power worms as well as the mice tails were doing really well. Now Charlie here, Charlie's gonna have to assert authority. So for those that are watching on the video, Charlie, my dog, well, he sent us something. Go on, Charlie, settle down. All right, let's have him go check out things. But anyways, that was fun. The trout stocking there. There's going to be another trout stocking in our county here in Collin County, Texas, in Murphy, Texas. And then there'll be a couple events that you want to keep out for. I think next weekend it's going to be the Texas Freshwater Fly Fishing and Brew Fest. Oh, Charlie. All right, bear with me. He's really asserting his authority today. Texas Freshwater Fly Fishing and Brew Fest. That's a good one. That's going to be over there at the Mesquite Convention Center. And then keep in your back pockets, TRWD Fly Fest. Tarrant Regional Water District Authority hosts a fly fishing event at the banks of the Trinity River. It's a great opportunity to get into fly fishing. And well, you get to see some folks catch some really nice sized trout in the river that they stock, as well as you get some seminars, classes, as well as, well, there's some wine tasting, which yours truly is having some. Maybe Charlie needs some wine too to kind of calm him down here. Oh, anyhow, that's all for now this round. Do stay tuned. We'll do another Fishing Ramblings podcast here in the next few days, probably about midweek this week. But for now, this is the Little Red Book of Fly Fishing series from the Real Cast Fishing Podcast. Your host, Glenn, from the Cedar Valley Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube.